Now on NBC Palm Springs at 5, we have details on the non-fatal officer-involved shooting on East Vista Chino in Palm Springs.
This is an individual who has absolutely no respect for others' property.
And over the weekend, Indio police ramping up patrols in the downtown area due to a recent series of burglaries and vandalism. We have the full report ahead. NBC Palm Springs at 5 starts right now.
Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
And I'm Mark Messer. Palm Springs police is continuing to investigate an officer-involved shooting that occurred earlier today. That's tonight's top story. Palm Springs police say the incident was reported just before noon when a state parole agent shot a suspect during an altercation on Vista Chino Drive. The parole agent called for help, saying he was in a physical struggle with someone. Moments later, he reported an officer-involved shooting. The suspect was then rushed to the hospital when the ambulance crashed with another vehicle in the area of Sunrise Way and Vista Chino. Another ambulance arrived, transported the suspect to the hospital, but police have confirmed there were no casualties involved in the incident.
We had officers arrive to the scene. The suspect was suffering from a gunshot wound. He was transported as well with an officer, a firefighter, and the medic and driver for the AMR ambulance. And down the street, they were involved in a vehicle collision. And everybody in the vehicle sustained minor to moderate injuries, and everybody's being treated at the hospital.
Desert Regional?
Yes.
So no one was killed?
Nobody was killed.
Police quickly closed East Vista Chino between Whitewater Club and North Farrell Drives as the investigation is ongoing.
Indio law enforcement is increasing patrol this week after a series of break-ins that they say are happening throughout the city. Tonight, our Brett Rosen is live in studio with more details from law enforcement for us. Brett?
Olivia, Indio law enforcement says there has been 6 different businesses who were hit by what they call a smash and grab. Behind me, you can see some of the surveillance video of these break-ins that were posted on social media. Today, I spoke with the owner of Fresh Juice Bar, who says fortunately for them, they were prepared before the store was broken into last Tuesday.
I wish he would have just come in and asked for a smoothie. We would have given him a smoothie.
That's Marcy Medane, owner of Fresh Juice Bar, who has 4 locations in the Valley, including one in Indio. She says it was last Tuesday she would get the call that her store would fall victim to a smash and grab incident. Medane says there was no money taken since they make sure to keep the register empty. The only damage would come from a broken front door window.
Still doesn't feel good to come in and look at plywood when you're going to a business, right, instead of a window. It's like you're a small business owner, you know, and we're just coming off of summer and everybody's like ready for season. And it's like just a little setback, you know, financially. It's kind of a bummer.
According to Indio police, there has been several incidents of smash and grabs in Indio in the past week. Other than Fresh Juice Bar, CV Barbecue, and Indio Florist were the other businesses who fell victim to this. And due to the increased break-ins, Indio Police Sergeant Abraham Plata says to combat this, there is now increased patrol.
We are stepping up our patrols all the way to the Avenue 50 and Jefferson area to assure the public that our city is safe. They have no worries. We are doing what we can to provide a safe environment for everyone.
Marcy Medane says with the increased patrol, there is also something business owners can do to make sure their staff is well trained to minimize the damages that could be had during a smash and grab incident.
If you do have a cash drawer, leave it open, because in previous break-ins, we found that if you have a cash drawer and it's closed, they're just going to throw your equipment down. Now you're at another $2,000 for another cash register, another computer, but just leaving the drawer open and empty, which is what happened. You know, they came here, they took a look, there was no cash in there, and then they're out, and they don't really damage anything else.
Now, Sergeant Plata mentioned to me that the evidence has shown that these smash and grab incidents could be related to the same person. However, it is still an active investigation. As the story develops, we will keep you updated. Live in studio, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
All right, our thanks to Brett for that. The Palm Springs Public Library Foundation is pledging to match up to $1 million in donations towards the city's library renovation project. Campaign is called A New Chapter. Revitalizing our Palm Springs Public Library supports a multi-million-dollar effort to modernize the 35,000 square foot facility. Plans include an event hall, teen center, outdoor reading gardens, and a new makerspace. The library is currently operating out of Rimrock Plaza on East Palm Canyon Drive, with the renovated building expected to reopen by the summer of 2027 on South Sunrise Way.
We have a sad update tonight to a story that we brought you last week. 14-year-old Liam Cantu, the La Quinta High School student hit by a drunk driver, has died from his injuries. Cantu was riding his bike with a friend on October 10th. When they were both hit, he was hospitalized. Liam was rushed into brain surgery. Well, weeks later, his father, Jesus, confirming his death on social media. The suspect, Jose Villegas Sorbe of Palm Springs, was allegedly intoxicated and had been involved in another hit and run earlier that night. He was also on probation for a prior DUI. He's currently being held at the John Benoit Detention Center on $1 million bail. His next court date is set for December 17th. Meanwhile, Desert Sands Unified, representing La Quinta High School, issued a public statement on social media today saying in part, quote, they're heartbroken by the tragic loss of this student. The district adding that they extend condolences, love, and support to his family, friends, and the La Quinta High School community as they move through this difficult time.
All right, let's take a break from the headlines and get a check on the forecast. We have live pictures right now from our Agua Caliente casino camera high above there in Rancho Mirage. For the latest on the forecast, we're going to send things over to our Kai Beach, who's filling in for our Pablo Alsina.
Happy Monday, everyone. We're tracking warm weather to start your work week. We're going to see a high pressure system with weak Santa Ana winds. That's going to increase the winds, strengthen them. The windiest and the driest day, that looks like it's going to be on Wednesday. Now, we do have some high heat for Halloween, and we'll get there just a bit. As for today, let's look at the highs. We're looking at low 90s here on the valley floor. Up in Joshua Tree, we're looking at high 70s. Cabazon, bargain shopping, 86 degrees. Idlewild, about an hour drive away from here, low 70s. And in Big Bear City, we're looking at high 60s. Tonight in Big Bear, we're looking at 34 degrees. Idlewild, 47. Here on the valley floor, West End, Palm Springs, 64. East End, Indio, we're looking at 60 degrees. Our friends in 29 Palms, 58. Joshua Tree, just a little bit cooler. For tonight's morning walk, today we're looking at 6 a.m., 66 degrees. By 8 a.m., we're looking at 67. 10 o'clock starts to heat up just a bit. We're looking at 77. And at noon, we're at 83 degrees. A great day to go outside, have some fun, do some outdoor activities, and enjoy it. Peak heat today, that's going to happen around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that 91 degrees here in Palm Springs. 3-day forecast brought to you by Comfort Air. Monday, we're looking at 91 degrees. For Tuesday and Wednesday, 96. And those overnight lows stay pretty consistent, high 60s to mid 60s. Full forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, our thanks to Kai for that. In more local news, on Sunday morning, locals lined the street of El Paseo for the 61st annual golf cart parade. This parade was kicked off by a flyover, 3 parachuters landing. That was courtesy of the Palm Springs Air Museum. It was followed by a display of classic cars, appearances by the parade grand marshal, our very own Tim O'Brien, I should say, alongside Firebirds and mascot Fuego, and over 100 participants with dozens of decorated golf carts. NBC Palm Springs streamed the entire event on our social media platforms, all thanks to Pete Carlson of Pete Carlson's Golf and Tennis.
This is about close to 25 years we've been doing it, and it's a great tradition. And the city has started this out, I think, back in the end of the 60s or beginning of the 70s, and look what it's become. It's an amazing event. You can see booths all the way down to almost Highway 74 from here. It's amazing.
If you missed any of the parade, you can watch the entire broadcast again on NBCPalmSprings.com and on our social media pages.
And just a month away, also happening on El Paseo, is the 19th annual Martha's Village and Kitchen Thanksgiving 5K, scheduled for the morning of Thursday. That's November 27th. The goal is to raise awareness about Martha's Village and Kitchen services and to provide funds to support their mission to end hunger and homelessness here in the Coachella Valley. Still time right now to sign up. All right, coming up next tonight, the Department of Justice is sending federal election monitors to polling sites here in California and also New Jersey. It's a move sparking debate over federal oversight as voters head to the polls just 1 week from tomorrow.
Plus, President Trump pushes trade talks in Asia as the government shutdown continues to strain federal workers back home. We'll have the details coming up right after the break.
committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 5.
Welcome back. Early voting centers are now open for the California November 4th special election.
The statewide proposition on the ballot this year is Proposition 50, which would allow for the drawing of new congressional districts throughout the state. The statewide proposition that we're talking about right now is just 1 week from tomorrow. We've got the final day to register to vote by mail. That's already passed. However, if you missed that deadline, you can still vote in this election through conditional voter registration through the November 4th election day. If you'd like more information, go to voterinfo.net. There you can find a comprehensive list with locations of voting sites as well as hours of operation.
The Department of Justice will send federal election monitors to polling sites here in California and in New Jersey ahead of the November 4th special election. It's a move that's been met with both criticism and support. Monitors will be stationed in Kern, Fresno, Orange, Los Angeles, and here in Riverside County to ensure transparency. Although Governor Gavin Newsom and the state attorney general argue federal officials shouldn't oversee state elections. The decision follows GOP requests for monitors. New Jersey voters will choose a new governor. Californians will decide on redrawing congressional maps, measures with national implications. While election observers aren't unusual, some California Democrats are calling this move excessive.
I don't think that we need monitors, especially monitors from the federal government. There's a lot of individuals, volunteers who are already choosing to monitor and are being trained to monitor. There has been no proof of mail-in voter fraud. The Republican Party here in California, as well as the Democrat Party, and really everybody is supporting voters to submit their ballots via mail-in.
The DOJ says civil rights staff will be available for voting rights complaints focusing on mail-in ballots. Riverside County officials say their ballot process is already open for public observation.
California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is teasing a potential 2028 presidential run. When asked on Sunday if he would seriously consider running, Newsom said, quote, "Yeah, I'd be lying otherwise," end quote. But Newsom went on to explain that his focus now is on the midterms and helping Democrats regain control of the House of Representatives. He also said President Donald Trump's presidency will, quote, de facto end if Democrats succeed in the 2026 midterms.
But to that point, for many years, you've said to me and several other people that you had sub-zero interest in running. And that how many ways can I say no? So has something changed?
Yeah, everything's changed. Everything changed here in L.A. You were part of it. You saw it with the federalization of the National Guard. I just think we're on the other side of something radically different, not marginally different. Everything has changed.
Newsom's term as governor ends in 2027, and due to term limits, he will not be able to run again. However, the governor has confirmed that a run for the presidential bid is years away.
While President Donald Trump is overseas negotiating foreign investments and peace efforts, the government remains closed here in the U.S. as federal workers look for ways to keep their households running. NBC's Julie Sirkin has details from Washington, D.C.
A great man. Great man.
President Trump talking trade in Asia, greeting Japanese Emperor Naruhito before his meeting with the country's first female prime minister Tuesday, hoping to drive home the point that Japan needs Ford trucks on its roads, a market that's long been closed to American car makers. And while the president is deal-making, a critical meeting is set for Thursday in South Korea, when Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping will talk face-to-face for the first time in 6 years.
I think we're going to have a successful transaction for both countries.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying the two sides are close to a trade deal that could avoid 100% tariffs on goods from China, scheduled to begin this Saturday.
We have a framework for President Trump, President Xi to decide on, and we discussed a wide range of things from tariffs, trade, fentanyl.
This is the second leg of the president's week-long Asia trip. As back home, federal workers are facing uncertain times, with many missing paychecks due to the government shutdown now in its fourth week.
It's a lot of uncertainty. Bills continue to pile up. I have car notes. I have children to feed. I have a family to take care of. I have a mortgage to pay. So it's a lot of uncertainty.
And now the largest federal government union is weighing in. The American Federation of Government Employees saying in a new statement it's long past time for our leaders to put aside partisan politics and called on Congress to reopen the government now. That's what Republicans want. But Democrats say they're holding out to keep health care premiums from doubling.
Well, an Arizona family of 4, it's going to jump almost $3,500. That's $7,000 someone's going to have to pay for their health insurance. There's not many families in this country do not have enough room for them to be able to afford that big of a jump.
Now, later this week, millions of Americans who rely on food assistance and other government benefits will miss their checks. The White House saying they will not move around funds to backfill those programs, instead calling on Democrats to reopen the government and end the shutdown. Meanwhile, NBC News has learned that Vice President J.D. Vance will be up here on Capitol Hill to have lunch with Senate Republicans tomorrow to discuss the shutdown. In Washington, Julie Sirkin, NBC News.
Let's go ahead and take a live look outside right now. Our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera feeling hot out there as we inch closer to Halloween. We'll have your 7-day forecast coming up right after the break.
Monday evening, giving you a live look from our Walter Clark Highway 111 camera there in Rancho Mirage. Gorgeous evening. Look at those blue skies. For the latest on the forecast, we're going to send things over to our Kai Beach, who's filling in tonight for our Pablo Alsina.
And everyone, happy Halloween week. We are looking at a warm Halloween week, temperatures slightly above average, so make sure you're drinking plenty of water out there. We're going to see a heat advisory run through the middle of the week, though that could be extended. We've got a high pressure system with some weak Santa Ana winds. That's going to make conditions dry and warm over the next few days. As for today, let's take a look at those highs. On the valley floor, we're looking at low 90s. Up the hill, Joshua Tree, high 70s. Idlewild, 72 degrees, and if you want to go to Big Bear, look at that. That's a cool 67 degrees. For that peak heat today, it's going to happen around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Temperatures will start to drop as we go into the evening hour. Tonight's lows. Wow. Take a look at Indio, 60, Palm Springs, 64, Joshua Tree getting down to 54. Big Bear City just around freezing, 34 degrees, and Idlewild, that seems comfortable, 47 degrees. For tonight's evening stroll, 6 o'clock. It's going to be a nice time to go outside and do something fun. 83 degrees, 8 o'clock, high 70s. By 10 o'clock, we're looking at the mid 70s, and at midnight, 72 degrees. More people are coming to our beautiful desert community. A lot of people coming from out of state. this is the weather that they're leaving behind. Denver, 68 degrees. Dallas, Texas, 73. Atlanta, Georgia, the city too busy to hate, 61. Met some people from Minneapolis, Minnesota the other day. They're looking at 64. Our friends from Seattle, a cool 49. And in the Bay Area, 65 degrees. For Wednesday, that's when temperatures really start to ramp up. Take a look at this. Palm Springs, 96 degrees. Thousand Palms, just under triple digits. 29 Palms, just under 90. Banning and Cabazon, both 91. And in Idlewild, they're getting up there as well, 81 degrees. 7-day forecast brought to you by Comfort Air. Monday, 91 degrees. That's how we're starting off this work week. Tuesday, Wednesday, 96. And Halloween on Friday, we're looking around 95 degrees. Those overnight lows stay pretty consistent, mid to high 60s.
And now, NBC Palm Springs Sports with Caitlin Kelly, powered by Agua Caliente Casino.
Well, welcome back. The Lady Aztecs at Palm Desert lit up the gridiron over the weekend for their second round flag football playoff game. The game was tied at 7 apiece early in the fourth, but with time winding down, quarterback Gabriela Noriega found Nellie Poland with a great pass. She ran it in for a touchdown, which sealed the deal for a 13-7 victory and a continued stint in the playoffs.
We talked about before the game that human nature is we kind of focus on things that don't go our way, but I told them to enjoy the moment and the whole game. Win or lose, we hope obviously we are going to win, but just remember to enjoy it and have fun. We're going to make mistakes. They'll make mistakes. We just have to get over it. And honestly, when she ran that touchdown down, I looked, I had chills on my arms. I have chills talking to you. They're a special group of girls who's dedicated a lot of time to this.
The Lady Aztecs will travel to Riverside tomorrow to take on Hillcrest High School for the quarterfinal game. And keeping things at Palm Desert this Thursday, the Palm Desert football team faces off against the La Quinta Blackhawks for the flag game. After Palm Desert and La Quinta's wins last Friday, along with Palm Springs' loss, the DEL is now wide open. As things stand right now, Palm Desert, Palm Springs, and La Quinta are all 3-1 in league and have a chance to be solo DEL champs. But depending on how games go this week, things could shake out any number of ways, including a potential for Xavier Prep to take a share of the title as well. Of course, our NBC Palm Springs sports desk will have all the breakdowns for you Saturday morning on our digital Friday Night Lights show, so stay tuned for that. And your Coachella Valley Firebirds are gearing up to hit home ice again this week. On Thursday, they're going head-to-head against the San Diego Gulls. The puck drops at 6:30. Your birds are also partnering with the city of Indio for the first ever Indio Night. You can grab discounted tickets to the game through the city of Indio by using the QR code on your screen. Time for Indio to go and represent our birds. That'll do it for sports. Before we go, the Palm Springs Plaza Theater Foundation is inviting you to the theater's open house celebration. It's Saturday, November 22nd. It takes place just outside of the Plaza Theater, downtown Palm Springs, from 10 to 2. The foundation is getting ready for a festival-style block party featuring community booths, vendors, live entertainment, free guided tours of the theater as well. Local arts groups who are moving into the newly renovated space are also set to perform. The box office will be selling tickets with no convenience fees as well for the shows they have planned. So man, everyone's excited for the Plaza Theater to open back up. Can't wait. Should be fun. I've never been.
Yeah, you gotta go.